7,000 viewers too. Everybody's here to see this hot interview. Hot interview. Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you are doing well. And we are here right now with an interview for the ages. We are speaking with rapper, lyricist extraordinaire, the lyrical miracle himself, Mr. Luke Gawne. You may be familiar with Luke if you watch my content on my Fantano channel. We did a bit of a spoof and a goof on his Death to Mumble Rap video, the sequel to that video. And I did an interview with one Mr. Screwface Jean, where Luke was a bit of a topic in that video. And, you know, I felt it was unfair of me, or it would be unfair of me, to do that to him and not also allow Luke a platform as well to speak his piece, you know, speak his mind and say what he has to say, because it's one thing to be on the outside and be criticizing Luke's work and be saying whatever you want about it, but it's another thing to hear directly from the man himself, like what is the makeup of his music, why does he make the music he does, what is the philosophy behind what he does, and I want to dive into this mind. So that's why Luke is here. That's why Luke is here. Thank you. You are here. I want to dive into this mind. So before I start asking some rapid fire questions about the music you make, let me first give you an opportunity, if you want, to respond to anything and everything that was said during that interview with Screwface Jean that pretty much set off the need for this to happen, because I know that you responded to that, and you know, I had told you in response that you're welcome on my platform anytime that we have an opportunity to link up, and that's why we're here now. And I know that in some of the disses that you and him had going back and forth, there was a bit of a he said going on in terms of like, you know, it's like, oh, well, you've always sucked up to me and this sort of thing and that sort of thing. And, you know, I'm sort of wondering, like, what's the truth? Is the beef still ongoing? Like, what's the current status, and like, what's clear the air, essentially. I'm giving you that opportunity. Clear the air.
Cool. Well, first and foremost, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be even before KSI. I know he was supposed to come on here. And for all your viewers, I'm wearing shades today because I'm nursing a little bit of a migraine. So if I'm sounding a little incoherent, it's because my head's exploding. But in regard to the Screw thing, man, it's as simple as this. I felt like Screw kept disrespecting me on Twitter. There were literally dozens of tweets. And I was going to, you know, fire back on Twitter or whatnot, but I figured, what the fuck, we're rappers, right? So I said a couple bars on a record I did with a rapper named 6 Seconds. And then Screw, I guess, had known ahead of time about the record. And he had 5 months to prepare a whole diss record against me, which he dropped. So we ended up sparring with like 4 records back and forth. And I think that pretty much deaded it for me. And just now, as time has gone on, and obviously we're seeing everything that's going on in the world right now, some YouTube beef seems more and more insignificant to me. And shout out to Screw for always being, him and Six have been the vocal leader for, you know, all these social issues for a long time before it was cool to speak up. So if anything, man, I want to just say, you know, I got their back in this fight right now, and I'm not really looking to hop back into some YouTube beef or really re-dig it back up. I think it was just 2 men who felt we were disrespecting each other, and we sparred, and the fans can decide who won and who lost.
Okay, that's fair. I think that's fair. That's a totally genuine and fair response to what went on. But still, I would like to try to ask you some questions about some of the more substantive, more art-related, you know, questions and topics that came up in that interview, and just stuff that I've just generally been wondering about you and your work, and also like some of the stuff that chat has been saying. So, somebody says, somebody was telling me to apologize, but that was to
man. I wish
else.
I could see the chat.
It's fine. Don't worry about the chat. They're full of trolls. They're full of trolls. But
What's up,
but
trolls?
I guess that can kick me off with the first question. So, you know, especially considering, you know, your release of your recent single, Death to Mumble Rap 2, like to what degree,
song of all time,
to what degree, is what you are doing, like you just kind of trolling or trying to get a rise out of people? Like obviously you've made some serious songs, and you know you put out that Death to Mumble Rap track, but simultaneously it seems like you have room in your heart for at least some mumble rappers. You had Little Xan on the track, so it's like,
He's
you know,
my best friend. Yeah, Xan's my best friend. Ironically,
how serious are you about this mumble rap jihad? You know, how far are you willing to go to make sure that mumble rap dies? Is my question.
I don't want to say I have no problem with mumble rap, but people took it way more extreme than I thought it would be taken. So here's, I might take a lot of shit for this, but this is exactly how it went. I was sitting at like 30,000 subscribers, and I was talking with my best friend Joey. I'm like, man, we've never had a video clear even 300,000 views. I'm like, I want to do some crazy shit that gets us 1 million views. And within 30 seconds, I came up with this idea that everyone said was the worst idea they've ever heard, to name a song Death to Mumble Rap and rap as fast as humanly possible. And that was back in like July or August last year. And I sent the idea to Crypt. And this is before I knew Crypt well. And he's like, bro, I'm going to give you some career advice. That is a horrible idea. I'm not jumping on that song. So anyway, we ended up doing a song called Rise. And then fast forward December, everyone was in town for a Futuristic concert. Screw, Crip, Mac Lethal, me, Futuristic. And I was still pushing for the Death to Mumble Rap joint. And at that point, they all like hopped on it, and we did our thing. We had a lot of fun with it. It was kind of like pretty tongue-in-cheek for us the whole time. And it wasn't necessarily I want Death to Mumble Rap, but, you know, as a competitive MC, absolutely I wanted to kind of, you know, flex what lyricists could do or whatever. So we did the project. I expected to turn heads. I did not expect the Anthony Fantano reaction, and I did not expect more dislikes than likes. And
is that where it is now? It's at more dislikes than likes?
You tell me, man. A couple people were like, you should buy likes so it looks good. And I'm like, nah, I don't give a fuck. I'm proud of that. So yeah, it wasn't so serious. And I know people are going to say, well, then you're a clout chaser or whatnot. And, you know, I stand by that 99% of my catalog is really heartfelt and whatnot. But this is 50% music, 50% business. And it's like, what if I didn't release it? You know, I'd be at 30K subs still. You know, there's a trade-off. So I had fun doing it, man. I fucking, and a lot of people really like the song. I was surprised. Like, there's a lot of people, that's their favorite song they ever heard. Some people like that lyrical miracle shit. So at the end of the day, man, no regrets. I see both sides of the coin, man. I understand if that really pisses you off. But I think a lot of people really need to check themselves and, you know, shouldn't get so triggered over some internet shit. But thank you for the views. 7,000 trolls. I appreciate the views.
No problem. Sending the trolls your way.
I love the trolls, dude. Don't you love the trolls? I feel like you get a lot.
The trolls are the lifeblood of this channel. We'll say that.
Shout out to trolls.
So the guys who you were inviting onto the track were a little hesitant at first. Like, where did that hesitance come from? Did they just think the concept was whack, or they think it would draw too much negative attention, or like what exactly? Where did the hesitance come from?
Crip was begging, like he was like, at least title it different or some shit. But like, I don't know. Mac Lethal was never hesitant. Mac's a chill ass dude. He didn't give a fuck when shit blew up. Futuristic didn't really care, I guess, that much. But a minute ago, I said no regrets. I guess I do have a regret. You know, I got a bunch of my homies in the crossfire of all these trolls. But it comes with the territory. And I felt like part 2 was a chance for me to have more fun with it. And that's what led me to do part 2. I felt like after the first one ended, I really had to make a sequel, for better or worse. But yeah, I think people might be surprised to hear, no, I don't stay up at night, you know, dreaming about Lil Pump and murdering, you know, Blueface. And, nah, man. I got respect. I'm sure I'd get along with everybody in person. But yeah, as a competitive MC, I do... I think that I'm competitive and kind of against that subgenre of mumble rap. I just feel maybe it's envy or whatnot, but I just see these guys billboarding, and a guy who says Gucci Gang 1,400 times on a song does 1 billion views, and it's like, man, I've been working hard too, and not just me, a lot of artists. So I think it's just that competitive spirit, but any real malice, no, not at all.
So this competitive spirit, like, do you feel like, and look, I mean, I love that competitive spirit in hip hop when it's between two artists who are really talented and great, and they're testing each other's metal. And there's certainly, you know, like a huge world of battle rap out there where, you know, despite all the mumble rap stuff, where that attitude like very much thrives today. But what are your thoughts with like applying that ethos and applying that idea to rappers who honestly like have no interest in competing? Like they don't care, you know, it's like they're just so into their own sound and their own world and whatever makes them money and whatever gets hits or whatever. Not that, you know, you don't care about hits or whatever, but they're just kind of doing their own thing. It's like, is that a challenge that you could even like, you know, offer up? Because I mean, at the end of the day, like, I don't know, for example, like a Little Uzi Vert to me just seems like if anybody challenged him to like a rap battle or whatever, it just
He'd be like,
seems,
fuck you.
Seems like he wouldn't give a shit. And simultaneously, there are some rappers who were kind of like on the cusp of popularizing a lot of this stuff, like let's say Little Yachty, for example, who you know there were when he was coming up, there were a lot of old heads who were just like outright attacking him, and he kind of responded to that in some not so great ways, and I feel like was trying to put himself in that lane a little bit, like with some freestyles that didn't turn out that great. And I don't know, I feel like if that's your talent set, to just kind of be making these hype songs or you're just repeating the same fucking lyrics.
That's what I learned too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if that's your talent set or if that's your aesthetic, I mean, that's what it is, you know, like kind of being like, you know, like challenging someone to a lyrical battle isn't necessarily going to like change that. You know what I mean?
And sometimes, and like and you know, once again, to go to the other side of the coin, I feel like some of the worst music I've ever heard is like guys who are lyricists. Like they can't make a song for the life of them. And some of these cats that maybe people thought I was dissing can make really good vibes. And music at the end of the day is a vibe, you know. Simple can be better. So I'm not saying, you know, I'm not bashing them at all. Like, I completely understand, man. To make music as your living and your passion and whatever, man, if that's what you want to do and you're doing it well, props to you. But if I'm a little, you know, jealous or frustrated or whatnot, you know, I'm gonna shoot my mouth off. I guess that it's as simple as that.
So tell me, as far as an artist and a rapper, like for you personally, like when or where was the genesis for this? Like when did you fall in love with hip hop and like what was that introductory point for you? I think a lot of people would just say, "Oh, you love Eminem. You're trying to be Eminem. You're an Eminem guy."
I'm Marshall.
But like surely it like it must run like deeper than that. Like I know that we were talking a little bit earlier, and you were talking about how you're trying to get like land a track with a tech, and you're working on that, and you know, I lyrically and flow wise, I mean that's definitely like a lane that it sounds like you can compete in. Like, but I'm sure that you know your listening diet is beyond that of Slim Shady. Like, you know, when exactly were you introduced to this stuff, and like, you know, what was that opening point?
So for starters, growing up, I have an older brother who's 11 years older than me. And the
classic older brother turning you on to cool stuff.
No. It gets deeper. So Tech Nine Ever Ready album was all I really fucking heard for like a year. And then he recommended Black on Both Sides by Mos Def. So that was the first album I bought on iTunes. Mathematics is my shit. You know, 1 for Charlie Hustle, 2 for Steady Rock. 3 for the foot, like that was my shit. And then
dude, that album's a fucking. Let's just stop. That album's a classic. That is a fucking classic. He scares me
to listen to, man. He makes me like, yeah.
One of my favorite hip hop songs of all time is New World Water.
Yes, he's tremendous. He's tremendous. So then he went to the Marine Corps and got deployed and everything. And then the only hip hop in my household that like you would hear was on the radio. So I was like, man, I'm just not really that into it. And then in high school, anyone who's like a hardcore fan of mine will know this. I had a really bad brain injury, and I ended up not being able to go back to high school at all. I still have visual disturbances, visual snow, dizziness to this day. Basically, I always feel like shit. But back then, I thought I was going to die. That's how fucked up I was. So I was home for like 3 years, home or in a hospital for 3 years. And it was during this time that, you know, I couldn't watch TV. It was too bright for me. I couldn't read a book. It was hard to focus my eyes like that. So I started listening to music, and, you know, I listened to a bunch of artists, and it was really, you know, as you guys could probably tell, when I found Eminem and started digging into him, it made me want to rap. So during that period, I started writing, probably to just a bunch of M beats, relapse beats, whatever was coming out at the time. And, you know, I just kind of did it as therapy. And I posted a song on YouTube one day, and like my whole high school, like who hadn't seen me, they're like, this kid's still alive. And they all liked the song, and that kind of gave me like, oh shit. And a lot of it was out of fear to rap. It was like, man, I don't think I could ever do a 9 to 5 with my health. I don't think I can go to college. Like, I'm fucked. So I just started writing like a fucking lab rat, 24/7. Writing or when I was too sick, I would just listen. And I kind of had a couple years to get good at it while other kids were in school. So that's pretty much the genesis. If it's a double-edged sword, right? Because I for sure wouldn't have rapped if I didn't have the brain injury, but I don't enjoy anything more than it, like close. So I don't know. I don't know if like y'all are big on destiny or whatnot. I don't even know if I believe it, but sometimes I wonder, man. It seems like things, when doors shuts, others open, if that makes any sense.
That's actually pretty. I don't know if I've not seen anything Chad has been saying over the past second, because I find what you just said really fucking inspirational. Like,
no, but real talk, like I've battled it all through that shit. Like, not just fucking brain injury, but that came with depression, crippling anxiety, benzodependency, in and out of inpatient or whatever. So like, I do want to, you know, I just like, my end goal is to just show people that you could be fucked up and you could still do great things. Like, I'm not like healthy. People don't realize like I'm sick every day. I get like 4 days of the week where I'm productive, and then I'm just bedridden. And I put on, you know, a brave face and always try to look good and not show weakness, but that's just the truth of the matter. But at the same time, you know, I have a lot of people reach out who say, you know, like, I've had a brain injury or this or that, or addiction or this or that, and your music helps. So if I can do some good with what I had to go through, then, you know, all the better.
So as far as like what you're doing now and what you're working on now, I imagine that you don't just want to keep like, you know, making troll songs to piss people off.
Not at all.
Like,
no. There's a pivot. There's a pivot in the plans. Yeah.
There's a pivot coming. I know that for a little bit, like, as you're moving forward. Yeah, I know I caught on social media for a second. I don't know if it's changed. Like, you had this header that was like, make rap great again.
Yeah.
Like, is that still like an attitude that you feel in like your gut? Like, obviously, you know in your mind that like mumble rap has a right to exist, but you're still a competitive guy. Like,
Yeah.
how do you feel like you can kind of push that forward and still stay like true to yourself? Without having to have it be like, you know, oh, well, I'm going to go with this guy and that guy and this other guy.
Yeah, so make rap great again. So it was when Trump was running for office, before anyone knew that motherfucker could actually win. I was like parodying it, and I had I bought a MAGA hat to cross out and put make rap great again, and I did a cipher to it, and it was for a futuristic one-take contest before like Futuristic knew me or whatever. And that was like the first content I put out that really caught a buzz. So I kind of stamped it everywhere. And as the years have evolved, it's not so much like make rap great again, like Luke Gawne, I am the savior. I'm going to ride in on my high horse, bring rap back to the golden age. No, fuck no. It's more a reminder to me to, you know, every day try to be more great than you were the day before. And you guys might think I'm trash or whatever, these trolls, but I guess each day be better than I was the day before. Like, the goal is to be great, you know, push myself to be great. And it's more so just a reminder for me. And I think it's a decent catchphrase. Like, it seems to like a lot of fans will be like, yeah, make rap great again. So just stuck with it. But no, I'm not like, I don't think I've never once thought that I was going to be any type of savior or anything or whatnot. You know, truthfully, I want to be the best I can be for myself. I want to see how far I can take my body and mind, technically rapping wise. Sorry, I'm jumbling. I kind of want to be the best I can be, and it's never really about selling the most or this or that. Like, my goal is to be as great as I can be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the truthful answer.
And, you know, like, and for you, expressing that is technical proficiency, but is there more to it beyond that?
It's not
like,
way more than that, you know.
Like where else does it go from there? Because obviously there are a lot of people who would just deride you or cast you off as like, oh, he's just a lyrical miracle. He's not really saying anything. He's just blah, 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 blah. Like, obviously technicals matter, but like what else are you focusing on in the creative process?
It's like, I've realized people like Cardi B and DJ Khaled, people think they're like the most stupid people in the industry, but I actually did a TV show when Khaled was there, The Four, and I watched a couple episodes of whatever the Netflix rap show was. And although you might think they're stupid, they say it in the simplest sense, man. Everything is a vibe, like point and blank. So I think, you know, you could be the fastest rapper on earth or the best rhymer or whatever and make trash-ass music. I understand that. I think what excites me about the future is absolutely building my own voice and, you know, creating better vibes and songs as a whole. But when I'm not naive to the fact that the YouTube community is a pretty untapped market for me, where there's a bunch of fans who fuck with the lyrical miracle, and it's probably the quickest way without label support and whatever to build myself up. So, you know, I make songs that appeal to the YouTube community, but I'm also, for every one song I write lyrical miracle, I'm doing 10 experimental shits right now. Like, I'm really, most of my time right now is just trying to progress my artistry and find new flows, new vibes, new melodies, and whatnot.
As somebody who's like, and I'm genuinely curious about this, and I wasn't expecting to ask a question about it, but as somebody who is like genuinely struck oil a little bit in that scene on YouTube, because like my fans, my viewers, like are conscious of, are aware of rappers that rap in that style. They obviously have opinions about that stuff, but like the place where I see the most fandom for it and most discussion and celebration of it is on YouTube. Like, do you have any insight or ideas to why is it so popular there? Why is it not popular on SoundCloud? Why is it not popular on Bandcamp?
Oh.
Why is it not the thing?
I think it's niche. I think it's a niche market.
It's a niche, but like, why there of all places?
Holy shit.
Is it like, I know there are a lot of rappers in that lane that they'll also do a visual that, you know, puts them on video and shows them rapping like a certain amount, like, you know, like Watsky or something like that. And I know Mac Lethal does videos about that too. Is there something about a visual to it or something else?
I don't know, man. I think the visual, for one, I think my best guess would be just YouTube is a platform for people who don't have a label or whatever, and labels aren't really signing the flippity hibbity and whatnot. And I'm sure a couple pioneers like Mac Lethal and whatnot brought people in, and then Crip, me, a bunch of other guys are furthering it. And it's kind of like an underground scene for people who miss that type of rap, because on the radio, on SoundCloud, you're not going to hear that type. That would be my best guess. Maybe I'm wrong. That's a really good question. Why is it YouTube?
I think the assumption that a lot of people who hate this style of music going into it and just really want to deride it and put it down is that, oh, like only 12-year-olds listen to it. But I'm pretty sure that that's not the case. Like it seems like it must be a pretty wide array of like not just younger people, but I mean, Eminem's pretty old at this point. Like, I remember listening to Eminem and buying his first record when I was like in 8th grade. So, you know, there must be people who are still my age or older who are like fucking with this style and want to hear people carry it on.
Yeah. Have you heard of Token, the rapper Token?
Yeah.
I've opened for him a few times, and I'd say we have similar demographics. And when I'm at his shows, it's a lot of those fucking mid-30 dudes. Like, it's crazy. So I think they've been looking for they've been looking for a marketplace with the music that they want. And I think this YouTube shit's emerged. And what I've been preaching, you know, timing's everything in life, right? Like, this YouTube rap scene, I'm seeing a lot of people make 6 to 7 figures, no shit, off this thing. And it's just the genesis. It's just the beginning. You could criticize it all you want, but all of us own 100% of our shit. You know, we can engage all of our fans. We can push merch. We could do anything through it, you know? And it's just getting started. And I know probably 3 dozen dudes clearing 6 figures. So I don't know if this is relevant, but like, you could hate all you want, but it is a powerful tool for us artists. And I was in a production deal for a while, and I've done the whole Los Angeles recording side of things, small royalties, this and that, dealt with the snakes, and I'm so much happier just on this platform. So, and the music that I have been making with a lot of the flibbity hibbity, but also this, that, and everything else, it's been a good fit for YouTube. So, I saw it as a great market to start, build a base of fans, and then pivot and go into different sectors and continue to grow.
Okay. So, you know, you're seeing a future in it. Like, where do you think the sound of this is going from right now? As somebody who's creating something that at one point kind of peaked in terms of relevancy with a very popular, the most widely selling hip hop artist of all time, who is now like one of the most disrespected hip hop artists of all time. Do you feel like what you're doing is like a relic of the past, or do you feel like you're doing stuff that to make it feel new, you know?
I think a little of both. I think M clones will always be relics of the past. I think shit's shifting. Let me see if I could just play you a couple of my latest verses.
Dude.
I don't know how good the quality's gonna come through, but I'm doing more melodies and shit. I'm half Mexican. I got back to my Latin vibes on this shit. But can you hear it?
I can hear it.
Shit like that, like.
Hold on a second. I have some sound effects going. We got to play some bombs.
Oh, let's play some bombs, baby. Like Saddam.
Okay, there we go. We played some bombs and an air horn, just for you.
I'll play a couple more, just some quick snippets. But yeah, I'm getting away from it. But I'm holding a lot of my new sounds because, you know, the M influence shit really does do a lot of views for me, and it's helping to build. And it's a business too. Like, I'm sure there's some stuff you react to and stuff that just to, you know, keep the channel alive and well. This one I'm doing with Futuristic. But I don't think this sounds like M that much. You let me know.
Okay.
We are not the same, no, I feel you're not as real as a silicone titty little bitch boy. I was 22, popping pills in the Hollywood Hills, fuck a 6-figure deal. Now that ain't really something that I kill for. Rather meet a girl named Billy on the billboard. Swear to God, I'ma sell a milli for the kiddies that were wishing I was stillborn. Mama said the world ain't pretty on Fillmore. She grew up living in the gritty on the windy west side of the city with them shitty ass eyes. When you working $2 $7.50 jobs, count pennies in the bus stop. Must not know about the 9 to 5 hustle. Why you claiming that you grinding every day?
It switches up. It switches up.
I'ma say it one time. You ain't nothing but a fucking stay at home mother, not a tough guy. Seems like everybody wanna know how the fuck I'm going to know. I don't even got a moan. All I know is that when I'm in my got me like home. 1997 balls, don't never know bullshit.
Yeah, I got a lot of and different stuff too. I got some more melodic stuff like I already dropped it. I don't know how well can you hear it.
I'll say personally, I did not think that sounded like Eminem. That did not sound like Eminem. That did not flow like an Eminem song, and that is not the type of instrumental Eminem would really go anywhere near. There was somebody in the chat that said, I don't agree with this. Somebody said it sounds like NF. I don't think it sounded like NF.
Bro, fuck out of here, man. fuck out of here.
And someone else said it sounded.
In this chat, man.
Someone else said it sounded like Logic. I didn't think it sounded like Logic either.
Nah. And like I said, like a lot of people, it's a fair criticism to say there's been a lot of influence of M in the past. And I'm young, early 20s, get into my mid 20s, but I'm excited about discovering my voice and building off that. Like I'm not a finished product, but I find that exciting to me that I got room to grow and change. This is the last one I'll play, but like I also can do more melodic shit too, like.
I've been riding around with my window down, screaming fuck the world cause I'm right. Lot of people, so many people wanna see me fall in these tights. Pray to God that I'm way up high when them killers come for my life. You can hate me, never fucking break me, I'll be number one before I die. Everybody dies, I don't even really know why. All I know is still gon' grind, every minute going by is a race against time. Trying to make it with these lines, cause my mom's in her 60s, working overtime, won't even lie, that shit's killing me inside. I'ma make a milli with the rhyme, so you can retire, so you can be free from the grind. Hell, I done been through the fire, I was 15, living in the pity of my mind, like a city full of crime. Then I dropped out of high school, started popping pills, trying to really suicide, so they put me in a psych ward, no doors, full force, solitaire confined, it was like war, fighting for my life, only class was a crash course, couldn't even pass that bail, so it's back to the whiteboard. Running around with my window down, going to a place that I
like. Yeah, and just to get back to the lyrical miracle shit, I rapped slow for like 6 or 7 years, right? Sometimes you just get a little bored. For me, it's challenging to like put the puzzle together quick and shit. And yeah, it's not super lyrical if you break down the words, but I completely can see the point if you think that's mumble rap to you. Like to some people, it's so fast, incoherent, but my brain moves that fast. To me, that's just like regular speed. So, I just want to say I'm never mad at anybody who fucking doesn't like fast rap. Like, I feel you. I don't want to listen to that shit like 90% of the time either. Like, what the fuck? But well, I just wanted to clear the air on that.
I guess what's important about the fast rap thing and the Eminem thing is that, you know when you're doing that, you know when you're embracing it, you can do other things. And when you're doing it, you already have a certain audience in mind when you're doing it, and you've been doing it for a certain platform for a certain amount of time for a certain reason to kind of like build things up to where you are now so that you could branch out and do other things. Regardless of whether or not I or the chat enjoy what it is you do, you're diversifying. And honestly, like, you're coming out with music videos and you're coming out with singles and that sort of thing. But if you're gonna produce an entire record, like nobody wants to hear the same kind of song over and over and over and over and over. You've got to display your versatility. Even Eminem doesn't make the same song over and over and over and over.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. And I prefer albums to singles every day of the week. But man, as soon as I started doing singles instead of it's just the way to go when you're growing. In my opinion.
No, I actually give people that advice all the time, because the thing is, like, why would you focus on 30 minutes of music when nobody is even listening to 3 minutes of your music? You know what I mean? If you can get people to sit down and listen to 3 minutes of your music repeatedly, then work on the 30, work on the 40, work on the larger span of time. But the thing is, if nobody knows who the hell you are, just think about any other business venture or anything that you're trying to push and get people to get into that requires you to do a bit of an elevator pitch, and for a musician, for a musical artist, that is a song. That is, what is your hottest song? That is, what is your best song? When people are trying to get me to listen to their stuff, I mean, often that's what I find myself asking for. Like, what is your best track? Because
exactly.
Again, to go back to the previous point, if you can't wow me in 3 minutes, I'm not going to fucking wait around for 30 minutes for you to come up with a great idea. Because another thing about being an artist and being a commercial artist is knowing when to edit yourself and knowing what songs and sounds that you're producing are going to appeal to people faster than others, and how to slowly introduce people into song ideas and music that you're producing that is maybe a bit more layered or slowly growing or might require a bit more attention or care or focus. All of that is essential to the process of creating and trying to be successful in the commercial field anyway. I mean, if you're an artist and you're just making music for yourself or your friends or just a handful of people who have agreed to listen to it for whatever fucking reason and you don't plan on making a living off of it, then make whatever the fuck you want. Do what you got to do. But you
and I know a lot
seem
of
like
guys
you're
who
putting
are
on
so
your
proud, right?
Yeah,
There's artists who are so proud and like, I will never compromise, and it's like, man, like I feel you, like respect to the max, but like, I got a fucking accounting and marketing degree, ended up going to school and shit, and that's not what I'm gonna do. So I'll play the business end.
So you have an accounting and a marketing degree?
University of Illinois in Champaign, yeah.
Got it. So when you went to college, what were some of the struggles that you had dealing with sort of your injury or any limitations that came with that, and also getting through school, with what you have now?
So, like I said, I didn't go to high school except for senior year. They put me in a class with put me in like a special ed class where I could just do online credits. I wasn't supposed to graduate, but they were able to finesse me in. And I did like 3 years of credits in like 2 weeks. I took advantage of the system, so I got my diploma. Then I said, Mom, I'm going to be a rapper. She said, fuck no, you're not. You're going to school or you're getting the fuck out of this house. So I started at community college. I didn't know I was good at school. But that semester I got a 4.0. I got invited to their scholars program. I finished with a 4.0 at community college, yada, yada, yada. I was honored as like the highest scholar graduate. I had a Georgetown interview, this and that. Got into University of Illinois' accounting program. Graduated that too while fucking spending half my time in LA. But yeah, I was sick as a dog every single day. Like, man, school was not good for my health, man. The fluorescent lights, having to study, having to read, having to do everything. But I think it taught me a lot of discipline and to not, how to not be a bitch, just the alternative was I was kind of to change the subject. I was at my neurologist a couple months back, and he said, and he's a fan of my music, funny enough, and he said, everyone else I know who has what you have are in a basement not doing anything. So I feel like it was music that kind of brought me out of that. And even like music kind of taught me good habits in school and whatnot. Like I applied the same effort I put into that into everything I do now. So, but yeah, that's basically how I got to college. And man, when I say I was sick every day, I was sick every day. And I'm still sick every day. And when I say sick, it's not like a cold. It's my visual field is all fucking sparkly and zigzags and flashing, and I'm super dizzy, vertigo, all that. Ears are ringing loud as fuck. A bunch of neurological shit. And my biggest complaint is like the cognitive skills. Like it's hard to think. Like I don't even know how I write how I do so fast. Like I kind of sit down and I look up and it made itself. And I'm like, thank God. But it is what it is. And the reason I want to talk about it as much as I can is because you'd be surprised how many people have something. Some autoimmune, some this, depression, anxiety. And funny enough, out of all my symptoms, man, and I've had terrible physical symptoms, anxiety is the worst fucking symptom I've had, because anxiety is the one thing that can actually stop you, You feel like shit, but you're not anxious, you can go get it still. But so I feel blessed to at least be able to empathize with a lot of different people. And maybe I'm going on a tangent, but yeah, I feel like it's important to talk about. Because, that's why the Gawne image for me, it fits so well, the name Gawne, because I do kind of feel gone. I do kind of feel detached a little. I'm not as, cognizant and sharp as I was before everything, but I think it just seemed to fit, and ironically, it's my last name.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, I love hearing you talk about this stuff, especially since like music was kind of the conduit that brought you some focus. Because personally,
saved my life. Like people say that and it's dramatic as fuck, but it saved my life.
I can't. I'm not going to say I've been through anything, that's even half as bad as you have. But music as well also brought a lot of focus to everything that I did. And no matter what I was trying, it just sort of made the most sense, even though like as a career, it made the least sense. And, you know,
Exactly, man.
when I was in high school, you know, nobody told me I was going to be reviewing music on YouTube. And I didn't
you can't be the busiest internet nerd, music internet nerd, if it's not truly fucking in your core, your passion. The only way someone works as hard as you and me is it doesn't feel like work, right? This is fucking, it's an obsession. We love to do it, man. It's blessed, man. We're blessed. And any artist in this, any troll artists, I encourage you to, you know, you get one life, try your best to do what you want to do, if it's possible. That's the one lesson I've learned. You know, a lot of my peers now have jobs out of college and whatnot, and it's funny, they say to me, you're the only dude we know who's actually like kind of doing what they actually wanted to do. And man, we're blessed. We're blessed, Mr. Fantano.
I agree.
Hey, who knows? Maybe I'll lose all my subs and have to work a day job though. So we'll see. We'll see.
Dude, if you keep writing those fucking lyrical miracles, that's never gonna happen.
Exactly. You wonder why I did Death to Mumble Rap, motherfuckers. I needed those 2 million views, bitch. No.
Yeah, but before you go, give us like the greatest lyrical miracle, just off the dome. The best lyrical miracle, just for the audience, just for chat.
Infinite rap momentum, I get them, and then I'm mentally end of this life, even when I look at the elegance. Fucking nah. Go long.
I'm sorry. I'm giving it explosions anyway. I'm giving it explosions.
If I fuck this up, go something like this. Nah, fuck it. Fuck it. I'm about to embarrass myself on a live stream.
You know, it's fine. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it.
They don't deserve it. I was about to drop. I counted today 11.4 syllables per second on y'all ass, but no.
They don't deserve it. They're just haters. They're just hating. So it's fine. Although a few people,
I love y'all though. All jokes aside, man, we gotta. The world's crazy right now. We gotta have less of this hate. I encourage all y'all to self-reflect, and you'd be surprised what a positive mindset and saying something nice. It's gonna take y'all a lot farther than, you know, staying in my DMs and blowing up my phone right now.
Well, hey, you know, like start DMing those start texting those people back your PayPal. Start texting them your iTunes. Like turn those people into fans.
Turn them into, you know, donors.
You have been an amazing sport. Thank you very much. And just thanks for giving us some insight into you and everything that you do. You have, and if you know, I know the jokes are there and we have fun and everything, but you have my respect, sir. You have my respect.
And I appreciate that. I didn't expect to get your respect, and I'm glad you have an open mind and are able to give me your respect. And
no, I'm not a big internet bully. You know, I'm not a big internet bully.
These features ain't free, boy. I got an Anthony Fantano interview now. The stock is up.
It's going up. It's up and up and up.
Going up. We Amazon now, baby.
Luke Gawne, thank you for coming through and speaking with me. You're the best.
Appreciate you, man.
All right. Bye, man.